Hey there and welcome. In this tutorial, I'm just going to show you how you can quickly transform twig pencils into something quite a bit more pretty. We're going to use some papers and some sari ribbon to transform our pencils into a really cool pencil you can give as a gift, and well, it's just fun, right? So I have a variety of different twig pencils. There's some chunky ones, there's some long ones, there's some really skinny ones. I kind of like the ones that have a little bit more diameter to them because then you can see the paper a little better. These tiny ones, you could do them, but I actually like them where they're just a little bit more substantial. So I'm gonna start with this twig, and I've gathered up some. These are photocopies of my own art. And this is why I really like these too, because they're actually my own art. And so you can use any kind of paper, but you want to make sure it's not too thick. So I've got these different pieces that I've grabbed from my stash. You can even use paper that you've actually created, some real art papers. Just make sure that if you use anything on them that needs to be sealed, you seal it first, because we are going to be putting a finish on these, and we're going to be using glue, and it's going to get on your fingers, and you want to make sure that you have sealed any of your original artwork so that it'll work. And then I've got matte medium, and I have a little paintbrush here that I'm going to use to put the glue on. And I have a little bowl that has the glue in it just to make it a little bit easier as I work. And so what I do, you can tear in advance or you can tear as you go. But I like to create some strips of different papers. And if you want them to all coordinate, you can certainly do that as well. I don't really worry too much about it. I just want them to all look really pretty once they're put together. And so I'm just going to tear some. And they don't all have to be the same length, but you'll see as we go into this, as you wrap, you don't really need that much because it will go around pretty easily. You don't want to waste a whole bunch of paper by wrapping. And so I'm just going to grab a few more pieces here, and then we'll get started. You can also use handmade papers, and here's an example of that. Here's one. I love this, where it has these little, I guess they're sort of little ovally circles, and this is really pretty to add some contrast to it. And then if you have papers that you've made that have some black and white, those are nice to add into. Like for instance, here's one. I could tear this little bit here, and that will be a nice little bit for contrast. So you just want to gather up your papers, do some tearing, and then as you go, you can add more. It really doesn't take a whole lot to complete your pencil, as you'll see, but just make sure you've got some pieces that you really like nearby as we get started. I'm going to start with this pencil, and again, some of my pieces are too long, but I'll show you kind of as we work it what I do. Just tear them as you go. You want to make sure you put an ample amount of adhesive on it, and it doesn't have to be matte medium. You could use gel medium. In fact, gel medium might work really well because it's very sticky. And I might grab that just to show you that, but I like the gel medium was just right, or the matte medium was right here on my table, so it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to gently wrap. And then I'm going to hold it. I didn't go all the way to the end. You can if you want to. I kind of like that little bit of the wood showing out. I'm just pressing it before I go to the next level or the next section here. Before I move up. And because there's a torn edge, if you have both torn edges, totally cool. I like to put the torn edge on top so that it's just looks a little neater, I think. And I think we'll go with, I don't need all of that. You can just kind of measure them down as you go. So put that one right about there. So I can still see the pink, and then I just wrap the next one around. And again, hold it and press down as you go. So easy to do, guys. And what's neat about it is, I mean, you can use any paper, yes, but if you use your own art, that kind of makes it special, right? All right, let's do one of these handmade papers here. Some of these little scraps. Actually, I'm going to put it against a light paper. So let's go to one here. Let's go to this one, and then we'll put it against that. So I think I like this part. And I only need a small amount. So again, you can see you don't need a whole lot of strips to do this. All right, the last piece will go up here at the top. And let's see what, I like the fact that I added that little bit of contrast there with that black and white paper. So let's see which one I think will go best. Maybe something a little lighter. So let's do this one. And then I'm going to tear both, and I'm going to make it kind of thin. I'm going to tear both of these off here. I don't want it to go too far over where the wood is, but I think that will work. Oh, and I love that because it's got the text on it too. Yeah, I think that looks good. And I want to kind of measure this out to fit. I think that'll fit perfectly. All right, so let's put this last one on here. I think that looks good. And then what we're going to do is, I like to make multiples of these because you want them to dry before we actually put the varnish on them. And it's okay that there's a little bit of wood up there at the top, but I think that looks good. And then I will let it dry completely, and then we'll put on the varnish. So this is one, and then I'm going to do, I think I'll do this really thick one. Now this one was really smooth. The stick was smoother than this one, but let's go ahead and we'll set that aside to dry. And then we'll go ahead and do, I'll start with you here on one of the thicker ones. All right, there's our second one. And we'll just let that dry, and then we'll varnish it and we'll do the finishing touches. Once your pencils are dry and all the paper doesn't feel moist or anything, it's time to add the varnish. And you could probably use any brand. I just happen to have Gloss Varnish by Liquitex. That's just what I happen to have in my stash. So that's what I'm going to use. And it's pretty simple. You can pour it onto a piece of deli paper or a palette just so that you can work with it. And then we're just going to use a brush to paint it on. And then we'll let it dry. We're almost done. So this is a little tricky because you want to make sure it gets the whole pencil. So I start with the bottom or the top first, and then I can hold the tip of the pencil when I get to the bottom. So I just make sure I coat the whole thing. And then once again, we have to let it dry. All right. Okay, that looks good. And then what I normally do is if you have something that you can place the pencil on that doesn't touch a whole lot of other things, that's ideal. And then I just sit them aside to dry. And then we have one more step after that, and then we'll be finished. Once your pencils are dry, we're going to add some embellishments to them. So I have some, this is regular matte medium or gel, and you can use heavy as well. I'm using this one because it's really thick and it will hold what I want it to hold. I've got sari ribbon. And then I grabbed a few things from my stash. I have these little pom-poms, these little tiny felt balls. This looks like it was part of a flower. And then I have some leaves. And then I found this was a paper clip, and I cut the paper clip off, and I really like that. And then I have a tassel. I think the tassel is going to be too big, but I wanted to have a variety of things to play with. So I'm going to set these aside, and I've got my ribbons here, and this is where I just decide, you know, what do I think looks good with what. So for instance, this is big enough that it could fit on the end of this pencil, or it could fit on the end of this one as well. Probably the stubby one looks the best. So I do like that. That's an option. And then of course these pom-poms are really cute. And I think these would look, I actually really like the pom-pom. And maybe the pom-pom, I think this one, because it's a little bit, the pom-pom's bigger than the stick. So I think we'll go with that one. So let's go ahead and attach it. And I'm just using a paintbrush to dip into my medium. You can see it's really thick. It's like a paste. So I really want this to hold. All right, let's see what, all right, I think that looks good. And then I'm just gonna press it on there. That's fun. All right, so let's set that one aside to dry. Actually got a little too much on there. Just gonna scrape a little bit of that off. It'll dry clear, but here we go. Okay. All right. And let's take a look at this one, because I think this is better suited for this. Now that I like that better than I think this one. Although, yeah, we're gonna go with this. I like the floppy nature of this one. And I have these I have leaves. These are fabric leaves. These, I believe, are from Prima Marketing. I don't even know if they make them anymore. I just had them in my stash, but I could put the leaves on it with it. I don't know. I think that looks kind of fun. Or maybe just one leaf. Let's see what it looks like without. I don't know, kind of like it without. All right, so then I have these other little felt balls. They're little felt beads. And I thought I could put one of these in the center to finish it off. I think I like the green. Yeah, all right. All right, let's put this on first. and then we'll put the little felt ball into it. Yeah, I really like the floppy nature of this. I don't know, just kind of makes me happy. Okay. And then I'm going to tap a little bit of the glue. Just a little bit because the ball is really small. Yeah, I like that. That's fun. Okay, so let's sit that one. Let that one dry. I'm going to stand that one up so it's not... There we go. Okay, so I definitely think the tassel is too big. Here's one of the pencils that's not been decorated. I think if you had a smaller tassel, that would be kind of fun, but I think this tassel's too big, so we're not going to use that. And I'm not really sure I like this either. I'm going to say no. Okay, could use this other pom-pom though, because this one's a little bit smaller. Ooh, they like to fly. Yeah, I like that one too. Maybe on this one. Yeah, let's put that on there. I like the pom-pom. If I can hold it in place without it flying. Ooh, I don't know if that's going to stay. I hope it does. Okay, let that dry. All right. Now what I really like to do is I like to add sari ribbon at the top. You can use all sorts of ribbons, but I really like the way the sari ribbon looks. And this is actually seam binding that's been dyed. And this would be really pretty too. So I've just gone into my stash and looked at some pieces that I have, thinking, you know, what would look nice with these pencils? What would complement them? I think this green would be really loud. That's pretty loud, but I like it. This one's got a little bit of yellow and blue in it. Here's a lighter green. I don't know. This orange is really pretty. I don't know. I think I like the orange. So I just kind of look to see which one complements it. Actually, I like the green. Let's go with that. See, I knew it when I would see it. So what I do is I place it here at the top, and I like to get a good amount on there, kind of wrap on there, maybe about 2 or 3 times around. And then I tie it off. Be really careful with the sari. This one's actually organza. They can tear really easily. Let's put this one here. And then I tie off the end. You can leave it as long as you like. And then we have this nice little complement to the pencil. Turn that a little bit since the pencil is crooked. There we go. Nice. All right, I like that one. All right, and let's put a ribbon on this one as well. Let's go with, this pink is really pretty. I like the pink. But I really like this. I'm going to go with this one because this is so different. This way you can see what seam binding looks like too. It's hard to decide. Ooh, that one looks really good. Maybe we'll go with that. See, changing my mind. Yeah, I like that one better. Okay. This one's kind of thick, but I think it'll work. Yeah. All right, so let's wrap it a few times till we're happy with it. And we tie it off, double knot. I actually like mine a little short, but you can leave them longer. It's up to you. Okay, there's another one. All right, so we've got these two. And we can even still add the sari, I think, to these, which I think will look really nice. That one's cute too. Love that. Okay, so then our last one is the one that has the flower on it. I'm not 100% sure we need it on this one, but let's experiment and see what we get. So we've got the green right up there. We could add this light green. Actually, I think that'll work. Yep, because it matches the tiny felt bead that's on there. Yep, let's do it. And because it's green, it kind of hints at the color of what the leaves would look like if there were leaves on it under the flower. Yeah, I like that. That is cute. Look at that. All right, so we've got little ratty flower thing with a little felt ball. I think that's one of my favorites. And then we have two pom-poms. And then these just have the sari. And you could put buttons on the edges of these if we wanted to. Like a flat button. You could put a flat button on there. I think that would be a pretty way to complement that. Yep. And then here's the two that I made previously. These I already had in my stash. And these were just done with the sari ribbon as well. So that's what they look like. Yeah. Yeah, I think this one's my favorite. Yeah. Alrighty. So there we have it, folks. Our Twig pencils, all pretty. Yeah, these make great gifts too, by the way. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and I'll be happy to help. All right, thanks. Have a good day. Bye.